location, which you're in right now, is the Awapua'a of Kualoa. We are going to be entering the north side of the ranch today, which is called the Awapua'a of Ka'a'awa. And actually, we say it Ka'awa. But the right way to say it is Ka'awa. Alright, you guys are cool. Thank you, sir. Alright, so, Kualoa total from all three valleys is 4,000 acres. And Kualoa is not the biggest ranch on all the island chains, but it is the biggest running ranch or operating ranch on Oahu. Right here to your left, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kualoa Ridge. And it's because of the very long ridge. Its name is Kualoa. Kualoa meaning long back. Right up here to the left, right up there, the highest peak. That peak is called Kaniho'alani. It is 1,900 feet above sea level. Alright, so in 1850, ladies and gentlemen, King Kamehameha III, he sells Kualoa Ranch, which is a 622-acre land parcel, to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Jared P. Judd. Now, Dr. Jared P. Judd, he comes to Hawaii in 1828. He comes to take care of the people of Hawaii with medicine purposes, so like the doctor of the Hawaiians. While he's here, he takes pride and does such an excellent job. He actually denounces his citizenship. He stays on the islands, totally falls in love with the monarchy and the Hawaiian people, and doesn't leave. He soon becomes one of King Kamehameha's greatest advisors, as well as one of King Kamehameha's most trusted friend. He also takes hold of several of King Kamehameha's cabinet seats. Now, in 1850, when King Kamehameha sold the 622 land to Dr. Jared P. Judd, he sold it to him for a whopping $1,300. 1863 comes along. Dr. Jared P.'s grandson and son-in-law Samuel Wilder and Charles Judd buys Kualoa, and they start a sugar plantation and a sugar mill. Although Kualoa and Oahu was not the first place for a sugar plantation, it was, however, the very first place for a sugar mill. Right here to the right is the remnants of what is left from those days. It is made out of lava rock, also mortared together with the crushed coral from across the ocean. Many people, when they visit the islands, or even some islanders that they don't know the history about here, they all think that this is a remnant of an old Hawaiian church. Alright, so, because of very dry weather, it made the sugarcane era unprofitable. So it ran only for 8 years, and the sugar mill and plantation closed its doors. Kualoa becomes a full-on cattle ranch operation. This ranch is now operated and owned by the Morgan family. The Morgan family are 6 generations to Dr. Jared P. Judd. Right there on the highway where you see other cars, I'm going to shift it just a little bit. That becomes an airstrip. That airstrip becomes 6,500 feet long. Okay? The cars would have to stop to let the aircrafts take off and or land before the cars could, of course, move again. Alright, so that's hitting 1941 to World War II times. Now we're going to shift it even one more time, ladies and gentlemen. To the right, to the left, you will see this all over the ranch. These are called monkey paw trees. These trees are native to trees because in arid areas of these trees, which is on the bottom, is much more greener than the outer areas. And that is because when it rains, the leaves kind of closes up or falls asleep and allows the water to go right underneath it. What these trees do on this ranch for us is helps us to landscape 4,000 acres of land, but it also is for a very beautiful ornamental purposes. But it also helps us to shade our 700 plus herds of cattle. Straight ahead, I'm going to go through this cattle guard as soon as all of these ATVs come through. But what you're going to want to do by looking straight ahead is you can only see maybe about so much feet in. You can't see the rest until we get to the top of the hill. Then I'll let you see down. But all in that area, straight all the way in that you can't see all the way, that is where our makeshift hangars were hidden. Our makeshift hangars hid our P-38 Lightning aircrafts. Our P-38 Lightning aircrafts were double-engine aircrafts that were excellent for long over-water flights. We had about 38 of these P-38 Lightning aircrafts on this land, hiding underneath all of the makeshift hangar houses. Now, that brings us to the point that you see a lot of these trees. They were not here at that time. How do we know this? Well, if you have aircrafts all underneath here, you could not have trees around, right? Because the wings for one, and then when it, you just can't. It just doesn't work. All right, so that's one reason. Another reason, is because the reason that they built this place, 1941, Kahlua Ranch, the whole land gets seized by the federal government. This ranch actually becomes a base, a military base. So one of its reasons to become a military base in this location, way up on the hill when we get there that you will see, is to take charge and watch over, protect the Pacific Ocean, as well as the Kahlua Marine Base that sits right towards the back out in the Pacific Ocean. So with that being said, you need a clear visibility of the Pacific Ocean. So another reason why these trees were not here. To the right, you see the first and the smallest of about 15 bunkers that is on this property. These bunkers are also called pill boxes. Now these bunkers, they were used for many different things. One would be for the ammunition. Number two, their rifles. Number three, some of them were used for lookout towers. Some of them were also used, of course, for communications. To the left, this particular one, they said went down 17 feet. It also went 24 wide. They said this one is really big on the bottom. They said this one was more particularly used for their food storage. Now, if you look to the right and look down, that is all that section you could not see from that area we were at as I made the turn. All down here is where the P-38s were hidden by our makeshift hangars. Okay, so that brings us back again that we can tell how old these trees are. Because remember, 1941, they turned this into a base. No trees. They had to cut it all down. It had to be all clear visibility. So these trees, although some of them, when you look at them, the trunks, some of them look like they're over 100 years old. They couldn't be. They're only about 70 years old, if anything. All right, so coming up to the left, you're going to see two pillars standing up. That is what is left from the gate entrance to their barracks. So all of this to the left, ladies and gentlemen, was of course all clear. There it is. Can you see it? The two gates, the two ends, pillars to what used to be the gate, who held the gates. So all this to the left was their housing area or their barracks. Again, no trees. It had to have been cleared. Okay, so what you're going to see as we get to the top of the hill is the biggest bunker on the property. This bunker goes into the mountain, 120 feet. There are three main entrances to this bunker. It is called Battery Cooper. There's also a 7-story observation point, which I will point that out to you as soon as we exit the bunker. This bunker is also proclaimed by archaeologists to be the most well-preserved bunker on the island. 1942, our aircraft that was housed down there seen action only once. It had to fly to the Battle of Midway, drop one bomb, come right back, and totally done successfully. Right after that, 1945 comes about, everything gets cleared, war is over. Hawaii then gets proclaimed to be the number one in 1945, the number one most armored place in the world, with about 30% of the military taking over Kahlua Ranch. Alright, this bunker also holds our movie memorabilia. It also has some military artifacts. What you're also able to see up here is the most significant view on the property of the Pacific Ocean. Alright, there's also two 6-inch power rifle guns housed here. Each gun had four rounds per minute, 15 miles into the Pacific Ocean. And even though it could swerve left to right, it still needed 6 men to operate each gun. Also in here, the movie shot, the series Lost, the Dalai Lama, the Initiative Electrical Station, the Tempest. Alright, so, in a little bit, I'm going to turn the bus off. We're all going to take a stroll into the bunker. I'm going to give you a little bit of information, let you stroll along. We're going to exit out that end. When we exit out that end, we're going to make our way back to the bus on this side. You guys can then take pictures. I will show you the 7-story observation point, and then we'll come back onto the bus. Okay? Yes, we'll be coming right back here. You can leave it below. So to the right of you, besides that being the Pacific Ocean, straight down right by this second tree over here, usually, and I don't know if there's, yeah, they are right there to the right. Usually there's surfers there. It is a popular surf area. It is called Rainbow Beach. Now, our ancient stories tells us that our Hawaiians or our ancestors super duperly loved the sport of surfing. Back then, their surfboards though would be 175 pounds, as well as 16 to 18 feet long, which is super big. Nowadays, surfboards average about 6 to 8 feet and about 12 to 15 pounds at the most. Right down there to the right, you'll see the longest stretched highway on Oahu, 6 to 8 miles. That is the Kamehameha Highway. That highway will lead you all the way to the North Shore. So if you haven't taken that scenic route yet, I highly advise you to. It is a very beautiful scenery sights. It'll also take you to 3 of the most notorious beaches in the entire world. Our famous Bonsai Pipeline, our Sunset Beach, as well as our Waimea Bay. Now we're going to be soon getting out of the boundary of Kahlua, and we're going to be entering that boundary section of Ka'ava. Alright, so when we enter this boundary, just sharing you some of the information early on is, this valley was actually owned by a Hawaiian chief named Joshua Ka'il. It changed hands at least 3 different times, and then it landed back into the same hands as the Judd family. Now this time, this parcel of acres is a 2,200 acres, and this section was sold to the Judd family for $4,000. How's that? Right here to the right is our Java plums. Java plums are native to Central America. Not Central America, but India and Burma. Now these plums can be eaten right off the tree. The lesser fruit, you can heighten its taste by salting it. It is widely used for preserves, ice creams, as well as juicy. Coming up to the left, this bush that has this yellow flowers all on it. This bush is called how bush. How bush was very, very important to our ancestors. If you was to cut down a tree, you would have needed permission from the chief. What this bush did for the Hawaiians was, it did their fish float nets. Their nets, their floats. Because the wood is very white and buoyant. Now fishing was the highlight or important for the Hawaiians because they're very self-sustainable people. Isolated on these islands for over 1,000 years. No big animals, so no cows, nothing of that sort. So fish was their main source besides of their staples, which was their kahlua or their taro or their breadfruit or their ulu. So very important to them. Also, they used to ignite this with the fibers of the coconut, making fire. They used the fire to do their cooking. So very, very highly valued this bush was. You could not touch it or ruin it without the permission of a chief, or you would face the consequences. Straight ahead, this bird is called a Alaiula bird, ladies and gentlemen. We did spot it on our earlier tour, but the other 3 tours, we did not spot it. Does anybody spot it? It will be in the water, if anything, usually. You got it? Yeah? No? Alright, just look. If you see it, then it's an awesome thing to see because this bird is endemic to the islands. So it's endemic to Hawaii. It is also very scarce. There's only a few hundreds of these birds left on all the islands. And right here on our property, there's about 6 of them only. It is called the Alaiula because the rate over again. But again, I'm sorry you guys that we didn't see, but it's called the Alai Ula. Alright, to the right what we have is the local vise. Local vise in the Awapua'as, when they constructed it, each Awapua'a would have a freshwater stream or local vise. It provided them with water for their everyday needs, but most importantly, near shore, inshore fish, like these right here. O opu to the left, opai ula. That is in the ponds, but that would be existing in their local vise. So very inshore fishing for them. The local vise also gave them water for their agriculture, because each Awapua'a also had an abundance of agriculture. Right here, channel catfish. This channel catfish, they're reserved in Hawaii, so we need to put them either in reservoirs or in ponds. This particular area of pond is a diversification that the ranch uses besides its cattle ranching, and it is used for educational purposes. We bring like Big Brothers over here, as well as some elementary schools and some clubs. And we teach them how to do fish netting like the ancients did, make their own nets and do their own fishing. And then they catch and throw. So they'll throw it right back when they're done for the day. Right here to the left, we introduce grass carp to help expose the ponds. To the left and to the right, we do have all of our pastures. All of our cows, ladies and gentlemen, the way you say cows in Hawaiian is pee-pees. Pee-pee. Thank you. Alright, so our pee-pees, they grass graze on our grass over here. Our grass is all natural. We do not put any fertilization into the grass, nor do we give these pee-pees any hay or any antibiotics. 100% grass graze. They're with us until they're about 3 to 4 years old, and then we send them up into cutting areas locally, and then they're cut and they're sewn into meat, and we do sell them over in a visitor centers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I had some awesome guests in my other tours. When I asked them the same question I'm going to ask you. What do you folks call these pee-pees that's laying down? Alright, don't get mad at me when I give you the answer. Ground beef. Alright, you're going to see 33 on some of these cows on their hinds. That is the number of the ranch. That is the number the state gave Kahlua. So 60% of our herds is used for that. 40% is used for mom and cow production, where the mom has a calf every year, and then the calf stays on the property till they're about 400 pounds, and then they're sent to the maiden feedlots where they double in weight. Now we can learn a lot from our ancestors, because over here in Hawaii we're 4,200 miles off of the west coast. We also depend on 85 to 90% of our goods to be imported, whereas our ancestors did not do that. It's totally self-sufficient. So that's why Kahlua is going back and getting really agricultured and aquacultured, besides having the cattle ranch. So right here in our ponds, we do have our tilapias, as well as our prawns. We do sell those up into the markets, and then they sell out to the grocery stores for our communities. To the right, we have our solo papayas. The solo papayas are two genders in one, so male and female in one plant. We do have something that's called rainbow papayas. Rainbow papayas are one plant male, one plant female. Straight ahead, to the right, but straight out that side, we do have our regular garden plants that we're doing cucumbers, potatoes, many other different things, again, to satisfy our communities. To the left and to the right are mayas, or our bananas. We have what we call the apple bananas. Very sweet, very sharp, very stubby. To the left are cacao, or chocolates. All the way to the left, up on the hill, have our prawns, freshwater prawns, as well as our Chinese catfish, and on the hill are ualas. Now the freshwater prawns, you can order it at the visitor center. We do sell it right there. Over here to the right is our agriculture department or headquarters. Also to the right is our agriculture shed house. These are our ornamental plants. To the right, this red torch ginger. There's about 1,400 different types of ginger. This ginger, however, is native to Polynesia. To the left is our herb garden, which we have aromatic herbs, culinary herbs, medicinal herbs, as well as cosmetic herbs. So many different types of herbs. So a diversified area. So you have echinacea, you have shingiko, sunflower, lavender, calamine, dill, thyme, oregano, a lot of things going on there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, all of these camps, things that you see, this is the Spartan race that's going on in the valley. So that's what that is. Just don't get mistaken. I don't want you to get excited. It's not Hollywood. Hollywood was here about 3 weeks ago, though. Alright, all these mountains in the front of us, ladies and gentlemen, this is what attracts Hollywood to Kahlua. Number one, it's easy accessibility, and number two, it's natural beauty. If you look at these mountains and it looks familiar to you, that's because you've seen it in many movies, you just probably didn't realize it. Alright, this statue right here is the Moai statue. It's actually a replica of me if you look really good. Alright, this statue is 10,000 pounds. Nova and Discovery Station was here. They wanted to see how these statues was moved. They came to the conclusion it was moved horizontally, and it was moved with rolling logs. Oral history has it, it was moved with the manas from the spirits up above, with the help of their gods on the Easter Island and the Rapa Nui Island. So ladies and gentlemen, 2006 is when they were here. So you need to look it up and come to a conclusion yourself. All these creases in these mountains, these are made from rainfalls. In the valley we have about 70 inches worth of rain. We also have over 20 rainfalls. So over thousands of years, all those rainfalls would cause these creeks and crevices in the mountains. Alright, you folks know what gallimimuses are, right? Alright, just imagine a herd of gallimimuses are stampeding down the mountainside. We have Dr. Neil as well as the two Hammond kids. They're actually on the left-hand side of the mountain, and they're watching this dinosaur stampede down the hill. When all of a sudden they realize that they're being stampeded too. So they start heading for the hills. They run down the hill, they find this log, they take hide under the log. These gallimimuses actually runs over the log because the kids hide under the log. Right up there, from up there, the hill up there, the gallimimuses are running down. So they make the turn right over there in the valley, and they jump over the log, thus saving the life of Mr. Neil and the Hammond grandchildren. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the most famous dead tree on all the islands, Jurassic Park. Alright, let's do this as fast as we can. Let's go ahead.